Hi guys, welcome back to Career and Corporate Hub. I would like us to talk about CV writing and applying for basically a job application process. So I'm going to take you through step by step for job applications. So I am a career strategist. I am a founder of Career and Corporate Hub. I've got a mentorship program as well. So I'm a co-mentor in our mentorship program called the Career Catalyst. We've got about 10 mentees. I am a metrology team manager. I think I wear many hats, but today I would like to talk about CV writing. I have been talking about CV writing a lot on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on here on YouTube as well, on Link FM. So you can also find me on Link FM every Monday on career. So if you're feeling stuck in your career and you would like to shift something or re-strategize your career, I'm here to help you. So today I would like us to look at a step-by-step process of job application. A lot of people are feeling stuck because they don't know whether the issue is with their CV or the issue is with the new systems that a lot of companies are using for tracking the applications, like application tracking systems, the artificial intelligence systems that they have, the portal that they basically use for recruitment. And looking at a lot of CVs, I see a lot of mistakes. I think 99% of the CVs that I've received, I see common mistakes. And 1%, the CVs are looking very good, but maybe it's just the way you applying for a job that's making you not get considered or get shortlisted. So today I would like us to focus on that. So step one, you obviously have to create a CV for the job application. Creating a CV, I'm sure you've came across a lot of videos on YouTube that are talking about CVs, but are they aligned with the South African standards? Are they aligned with the South African economy? By saying the South African economy, I mean we're all fighting for one job, like for one position, because of the high unemployment rate. So now looking at the structure that a lot of people advise for CV writing, if it's not somebody that is in South Africa, sometimes don't follow it because it might cost you from getting shortlisted. So I do talk a lot about the structure of CVs because I've before I started helping people reviewing their CV, it was also when I receive CVs for people that are applying for a job, either internship or I would look at the CV structures and I'll feel like this can be improved. So now looking at the first step for creating your CV, you need to understand your audience and you need to understand the why. So a lot of people say, I see people are saying so many things. Now I'm confused on how I should really apply for a job because the information on CV is just a lot and it's so confusing. It's not confusing. You just need to understand your audience and the why. Never have a standard CV when you're applying for a job. You must always tailor your CV to suit the position that you're applying for. So if you're not making any changes according to the position that you're applying for, therefore your CV might be disqualified because the jargon that you're using on the CV for a job or a specific job rather that you're applying for might not match the jargons that are being used on the job advert. So it's quite important that you also look at what the job advert is requiring, because that's what would make your CV stand out. Always tailor your CV to match the job advert. If you are applying for a specific job advert, always make sure that you tailor your CV to match that, because I saw someone saying that it seems like we have to chop and change. Unfortunately, for a job application, that is the case. You have to chop and change and match what the job advert is requiring. I have created 5 templates that you can use, or you can use as reference for CV writing. I saw a lot of people when I sent the websites that they're using for CV that they can use to create their CV, and they felt like I don't like it's requiring me to pay a specific amount and I don't have the money. So I thought, let me create, you know, free CV templates that you can use, and those templates are aligned with the South African job market standard. I looked at a lot of job adverts, and I have incorporated a lot of information that you need on the CV for the job market. So now on your CV, the first thing first, have a section for your personal details. Yes, you feel like the CV, the most important part is your work experience, which the people that are hiring you also need to know the type of a person they're looking for. It does not have to be a lot of information. For an example, I was looking for somebody to help me with my social media platform, and I needed to know the age, because the social media platform is very new, and I'm sure like people that the Gen Z, you know, can do a better job than me in terms of the social media platform. And looking at that, I felt like I don't want somebody that is you know, above my age. As long as maybe if I could see their portfolio, then that could convince me enough. So I was looking at that as well, and I was not being biased. It was just what I felt like would be suitable, and I was looking for somebody that I can also mentor. So now I'm looking for somebody that is starting up that I can also mentor. So now looking at somebody that is like way over my age, way experienced, then that wouldn't suit the position that I was, you know, I mean, the person that I'm looking for. So now look at those things as well. Age, you don't have to write age, because you don't want to have a long CV. So the first thing under your personal details, you have to include your contact details under your personal details. Don't put them at the top on the header. Just have a neat CV. If you look at some of the CVs that I have done, you'll see how neatly the header is. It's like very, you know, the header on Word, where it's like invisible, but in your information, then you can have like a nice layout where you include your, if you've got a driver's license, include it there, the area where you're from. For what I was looking for, I was looking for somebody that is either in East London or in Joburg. Why in Joburg? Because I go to Joburg a lot. So although the like the person that I was looking for, or the candidate that would fit the profile, would be helping me, it will happen a lot virtually. Hence I thought, you know, somebody in Joburg would be suitable, or somebody in East London would be suitable. So now including the location then would help you with increasing your opportunities of being considered. Looking at the South African job market, we are all fighting for the same positions, and a lot of companies now are forced to hire people that are within a specific radius. And also the company saves, if they hire somebody, if it's a company that is in around Gauteng, they hire someone that is around Gauteng, then they save expenses for relocation, 3 months rental, you know, they do save in a whole lot of things like that as well. So that's why it's quite important that when you're applying for a job in like a specific area, always include the location. The location does not have to be PO box, does not have to be like, don't complicate it. I always write my street name and also the city, and also I don't write the province actually, yeah, but you could include the province, but I mean East London, the city actually, just include the East City. We all know different cities in South Africa. And another thing that you can also include, like your ID number, or somebody suggests that you can just put your date of birth. Looking at the ID number and date of birth, you can tell that that person is South African. A lot of jobs in South Africa are looking for South African like people that were born and raised in South Africa, because of the job scarcity in South Africa. So don't overlook at that, because that information is very vital. If you put your ID there, you then have included your age, you have also included your nationality. So that is also very important that you include. And now gender is also very important, because a lot of companies are looking for females. If you are a female, then according to the employment equity, a lot of companies must hire females. So that's what the government is looking for. So therefore, if you're a female, then you are, currently in high positions. A lot of companies are looking for females because we don't have females at the top. So now it is your opportunity to really include that. And now looking at the second part, the second header, you need to then go into your education. Education include your matric. A lot of companies always say have a degree in what, and a matric. Why are you not including your matric? So now a lot of people say, but automatically when I have included my degree, it means that I've got matric. Don't overlook that. If a job advert is saying matric, include your matric as well. So it's quite vital that from your personal details, you put your qualification. And from your qualification, I always have high school qualification, and then education, and then higher learning education. Under higher learning education, the sequence is very important as well. You must start with your latest qualification that you obtained, and then to the oldest qualification that you obtained. It's quite important that if you don't have experience, you include your major modules, so that if you're applying for different jobs, then your modules can tell where your majors were, so that if, for example, you're applying for a job in supply chain and you've studied logistics, then if you have majors in supply chain, then you stand a chance to get hired in supply chain. So that's why it's vital to include your module, and it tells a little bit about who the person is that the company is hiring. But if you have a lot of experience, there's no need to include your modules. I don't include my modules anymore because it just floods my CV. So your first page of your CV, you want to have the most vital information. That's why it's quite important that from your first page, you must have your experience. So don't make it too long with your personal details, your modules, and listing of your modules also makes your CV neat. So it's quite important that your CV is very neat. So now looking at your experience, don't just write the name of the company that you are applying for. I mean, the name of the company that you've worked for. Also include your experience. Your experience has to be your highlights. Don't just include everything, because you find people including that I was making tea for my boss. Like that won't get you hired in the next position. So always look at what is going to stand out to the audience that you are sending your CV to. That's why it's quite important that you always tailor make your CV according to what the job advert is asking. The requirements on the job advert. Always try and match your previous work history with the job advert, and that will also help with the person that's going to receive your CV. Could be HR and you're applying for a job in IT. HR does not work in IT, although maybe they are familiar with some of the language that is used there, but the fact that they're not there all the time, or they're the ones who've created the job advert, they were definitely given the scope by IT, and they are just going to look at the key words. Are the keywords that are on the job advert there? If they're not there, then you're gonna find yourself getting your CV disqualified because maybe they don't understand some of the jargons that you've used. So that's why it's quite important that you consider the first audience that is going to receive your CV. Now, moving over, and your work experience, the sequence should start from your present or your current to the oldest work experience. So it's quite important that you expand on that. And then after your work experience, include your skills. A lot of jobs, they always advertise with skills. Look at what the skills are being required on the job advert and try to tailor make your CV to match those skills as well. Remember, the job advert is for the job that you qualify for. So I'm not saying that you must lie on your CV, which every time I talk about tailoring your CV, a lot of people thinking like, do you want us to lie? No, I'm not saying you must lie, but from the list of skills that you have, also make sure that some of the skills that are required, you have them as part of your CV. So that's why you can't have a standard CV. Always look at what is being required by the job advert. And now looking at your achievement as well. if under your work experience you've had some achievements, please include them. Like maybe you won the best employee award, you know, just put those major achievements as well. Also in high school, include them. University, include them as well, because it tells a story of the type of a person who you are. So that's why it's very important. And then lastly, but not least, reference. Some people don't prefer to put reference, some people prefer to put reference. And I'm yet to see, you know, companies that are still calling for reference. I know a lot of companies don't call, and I know a lot of companies call as well. So the person that you put as your reference should also know that you're job hunting. You must align with them, because you don't want them to get called and they say, I've never worked with that person. You know, your reference does not have to be your manager or your supervisor. Your reference could be somebody that you know they will vouch for you, and they know your work experience, they know how you work. I always advise that give your CV to the person, to the referees, so that they can, you know, when they get called for reference, then they're able to just, you know, skim through the CV, and if the reference requires them to write, then they write something that is aligned with your CV and something that you presented during your interview. And then looking at then your, yeah, so, and your reference can be your family. So please, they should not have the same surname as you. Very important. If you are still new in your career, your reference could be your mentor, your varsity lecturer, or your high school principal. So you can consider putting those people as a reference. And some people rather not have the reference and say reference upon request. I always say, this is South Africa. Like, when companies are looking for someone, sometimes they want someone now. And now you don't want them to still call you to say, hey, please send my reference. I mean, your referee, so that we can call them. Just put them there. You don't want to leave a lot of, you know, questions like, why doesn't she have the reference? Why doesn't she? Why, you know? And so if you compile or create your CV this way, I'm sure you're going to increase your opportunities of getting hired. Under job description, please always list. Do not put in paragraphs. Make it short. Look at the job advert, what is structured, and write it that way. And if you're not applying for a specific job, you're just sending your CV to agents, just for them to have your CV in their database. Always look at what different jobs that you're applying for, what they usually require, and tailor your CV according to those adverts. It's quite important that you always align your CVs with what the job market is, you know, is requiring. So I think this video is going to be long, but I don't want to make it long. And now moving over to the next step of sending your CV, following up. So if you send your CV after a week and the advert has closed and you haven't had anything, please follow up with the job application. It's very vital that you know whether your CV has been received. If you are sending to different agents, follow up immediately when you send that push to you know, like when you apply, follow up if they have received your CV, because I've came across like many instances where you send your CV to a job advert that was advertised last year, but you can't really see when it was advertised. So you want to make sure that the agents have received your CV. If you don't know where to get the contact details of the agents, in a lot of portals that you use, you must check there are details there. And if you just see the name of the company, just go on Google and search for their contact details. And after finding their contact details, you can call. I think it will get to the reception. Ask for, you know, if you could speak to one of the recruiters or explain the job that you have applied for. So it's quite important that you always follow up. And if you are sending an email through an email, following up would then be following up to the email that you sent. Make sure that the email that you send for applying for a job has enough information for somebody not to go and dig. To open a document on the attachment is it takes some time. especially if your Wi-Fi is not very strong. If the recruiters are working from home and their Wi-Fi is very strong, then they can easily just pass your CV, because loading of that page and your application doesn't have enough information, then they can easily pass your CV. So that's why it's important that when you are sending an email as an application, you write dear Sarah, madam, if there's a name of a specific person that you're applying for, that you're sending your CV to, then say, I am Kadani Satrayo, I am like I've studied mechanical, or I hold a BTech in mechanical engineering. I am I'm trying to find like a better way to phrase it, but I think I'll put a snapshot of what I've written before that you can use as an example for applying for a job. So you want to give as much details or as much information as possible so that the person already knows who you are, and the email should not be too long. You will see the one that I have put here, it's not too long, so make sure that it is not too long as well. And when you follow up again, if it's through an email or after sending an email, you can give them a call to say, I would like to find out if you received my email that was sent when and when. So following up is very important, right? And now let's look at after you've applied and then you get rejected. When you get rejected, please don't just sit and do nothing about it. So I think I should just take a separate video so that this video is not too long on rejection, how you can increase your opportunities of getting hired through following up on rejection. So I'll do a separate video and just cut this one. But if you need more help or if you've got anything to add under CV, please comment in the comment box, and then we'll continue chatting. And I am open for support on CV on LinkedIn, but I would like you to have gone through my videos first so that I know I am just, looking at the draft that you created from also the advice that I have given. And it's also quite disappointing that, I have created five templates, and I give you the templates, give you the strategy of creating your CV, and then somebody says, can you please help me? And they haven't gone through the videos or the CV templates and really modify their CVs. I would like to help people that are showing that strong initiative that they really need to be helped. So if you have not subscribed and you are watching, please do make sure that you subscribe. For those who have subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing, and I will take another video for following up. So bye bye. I thought I was actually, before I cut, I thought I was gonna do a full video on the steps. So this is a step 1, so I'll take a step 2 for following up, and then a step 3 for finalizing the interviews and the other information. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.